A very good evening. It is the 14th day of March 2023. And right here on Lookup News, we've got you covered on all stories that are making headlines, from the political front to the courts and as well on the business front, and some sporting action as well. I am Nancy Nelima, and our sign language interpreter for tonight is Josephine Ouko. Before we get into the business that we have prepared for you, here are our top stories. Tonight on Lookup News. Italy to loan Kenya 14 billion shillings for projects in health and housing. Azimio Brigade rallies Siaya as Monday mega demonstration beacons.
Maxine is innocent. Maxine did not commit murder.
Maxine Mahome's family defends her innocence ahead of her plea.
We are gathered here today, first of all, as UDA party, to receive them into our party.
And CS Kuria's Chama cha Kazi and 5 other parties fall to join Ruto's UDA party. Once more, welcome to the broadcast. The hashtag is Lookup News. At Lookup TV on Twitter, Lookup TV on Facebook, and Lookup TV on our YouTube channel is where you can find us. Do let us know you're watching as from using the hashtag Lookup News. You can also comment on the broadcast, and I'll be sampling some of your feedback at the tail end of this broadcast. Let's begin. President William Ruto has announced the stalled Aurora Kimorer and Itare Dams project at the center of corruption allegation scandal will be revived. In a joint address to the nation with the visiting president, Sergio Mattarella from Italy, President Ruto says the national government will kickstart the process of withdrawing a case lodged against the Italian contractors in the next 1 month to set in motion the process of renegotiating the contractual obligations for the dams. And as reporter Henry Tender now filed, Italy and Kenya have announced the removal of non-tariff barriers in their bid to stimulate trade and investment.
For the long time now, the tender that was issued to Italian nationals for the construction of Aurora Kimorer and Itare dams has been marred with controversy and corruption allegations, stalling the project that was aimed at addressing water shortage and uplifting agricultural activities in the food basket region of the Rift Valley. The tender that has dragged to the corridors of justice as the nation stares at the possibility of losing billions of money. But now all is not lost. President Ruto has announced the 3 dams construction exercise will be revived.
We've also committed in good faith to re-establish cooperation on the construction of Aurora, Kimorer and Itare dams and other water and sanitation projects which are critical to our agenda on food security, delivery of water, and climate action.
In a joint address to the media with his counterpart, President Sergio Mattarella of Italy, who is in the country for a 4-day official visit, President Ruto says the government will withdraw the case against the Italian contractors so that the projects can be renegotiated and re-engineered.
We have now agreed on a framework to settle all the outstanding court cases and court matters, and have agreed that the facilities that had been provided for the construction of these dams will be renegotiated so that we can provide for the delivery of the dams and the implementation of the projects.
The presence of Sergio Mattarella has come with good tidings for the nation. The government is set to benefit from soft loans and grants towards the funding of various projects in the country.
The government of Italy has also committed to advance 100 million euros in grants and soft loans covering projects in agriculture, development of MSMEs, housing and urban settlement, health, the digital superhighway, and the creative economy. This will be done through the Kenya-Italy multi-annual 5-year cooperation strategy on sustainable development.
In the same breath, the 2 countries have announced the removal of trade barriers and double taxation to ease business engagement.
Our 2 countries, at political and technical levels, agreed to remove non-tariff barriers and to promote greater trade and increased investment, including negotiating avoidance of double taxation agreement, which will usher in significant high levels of foreign direct investment in various sectors by both public and private Italian companies.
Kenya and Italy have for a long time enjoyed cordial relationship, especially on trade, and President Sergio Mattarella's visit is meant to cement that relationship. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Tende, for that story. And now let's keep up with the drought situation in the country. At least 70% of the residents in Marsabit County are staring at starvation due to the ongoing drought in major parts of the county. As Ian Kitani now reports, women, children and those with disabilities are the most affected.
With statistics indicating that at least 6 million Kenyans have been affected by drought in the country, at least 300,000 people are staring at starvation in Marsabit County. According to County Drought Management Coordinator Henry Mustafa, the county did not receive rains in December as expected, and this as wasn't the situation on the ground, noting that the state is at an emergency stage and more intervention is required to salvage the situation. While distributing food in the county, Deputy Majority Whip at the National Assembly Nelima noted that there is need to come up with a way of knowing how, even after the rains, the people will be restored after they lost their livestock to the drought, which is their livelihood.
The challenge that is in our hands now, number one, is to rescue the lives of people, and especially lactating mothers, malnourished children under 5, and the elderly. Let us also not forget the elderly, the people who are above 60. And we have some people who are above 60 who are affected by the drought. And again, in addition to all that, they are also living with disability.
Acting County Commissioner David Seroni, who said that many parents cannot afford to pay school fees for their kids since they have nothing to sell.
We also have introduced the school feeding program for primary schools. That is ongoing. We continue to receive deliveries from the government, Ministry of Education, to schools. And I'm sure it's not sufficient. Even secondary schools also need that. It's having a lot of problems because due to the loss of livestock, where in many occasions people use the livestock to sell livestock and sell and get school fees. So that's also another issue.
Elsewhere, Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Bare Duale, while distributing food in Garissa County, now notes that the government has spent 13 billion shillings to buy and distribute relief food to Kenyans who have been affected by the drought and in dire need of relief food.
Ninaomba wale wafadhili na shirika yetu ya kiserikali ya NDMA na ofisi ya County Commissioner, serikali kuu italete chakula kila mahali, lakini hawa mama wapewe chakula yao.
As statistics show that over 500,000 locals face starvation, Garissa Town MP Deko Mohamed urged the government to provide more relief food.
Wale walipotesha livestock yao wamekuja kusettle hii town na ni watu wamekuwa affected na hii drought na hii climate issues. So naomba County Commissioner, all the programs ambayo itafanyika tena on food distribution, including ile ulisema hapa ya World Food Program, this town and its outskirts must be considered.
Ian Kitani, Lookuptv.
Now to some politics. Azimio la Umoja has reiterated its readiness to hold peaceful demonstrations in Nairobi on the 20th of March this year, with the principals demanding that the government reduces the cost of living. Odinga has continued to stress that he won the August 9th general elections, and the Kenya Kwanza government is not fit to run the country.
While camping at the Azimio leader Raila Odinga's backyard, Azimio la Umoja principals have continued slamming the government for their empty promises. Speaking in his local dialect, Odinga has reiterated that he will continue with his planned mass action in accordance with the constitution. Martha Karua has expressed dissatisfaction with the government's move to suppress different sectors, especially free education.
Pesa ya kusaidia watoto wetu kwa shule ndivyo wasasi wasipate tabu, pia hiyo imeondolewa. Pesa ya matibabu, na baba alikuwa amekagua hiyo bajeti na wataalam, na akaona iko pesa ya kutosha ya baba care. Hiyo pesa yote hatujui iko wapi.
While thanking Siaya residents for supporting them, Eugene Wamalwa has cautioned the Kenya Kwanza government against increasing tax.
Kesho ameita wenzangu kutoka kule Western. Anataka kununua viongozi wa kule Western. Anunue wabunge, anunue magavana. Badala ya kushukisha stima, pesa zenu ndio ananunua viongozi wenu. Hii ni ungwana kweli? Pesa zenu badala ashukishe maisha, yeye anatumia hizi pesa kuweka maofisi. Tunasikia iko ofisi ya yule spouse wa prime cabinet secretary. Sijui iko ofisi gani anaongeza. Ninyi mnaweza kula maofisi kweli?
Jeremiah Kioni has continued emphasizing that Odinga was the rightful winner in the August 9th general elections and that the Kenya Kwanza government is incompetent.
Wale waliwapigia kura na wale ambao ni wengi waliwapigia Azimio kura, wote wako na shida. Kweli si kweli? Sisi wote tuko na shida, na mwenye anaweza okoa sisi wa Kenya ni Raila Amolo Odinga.
Azimio leaders who met with President William Ruto at State House have been asked to resign for betraying the coalition's stand.
I want you to be brave enough. Kama umejua umebetray baba na huko hapa. Kama umejua umebetray baba na huko hapa. Simama saizi uombe msamaha. Na kama hutaomba msamaha, MCS, you have a duty. MCS, you have a responsibility. MCS, you have powers. MCS, Yamngano.
With 6 days remaining for the Azimio principals to lead their supporters on a countrywide demonstrations in Nairobi, the coalition has continued cementing their support base in different counties. Sam Medika, Lookuptv.
And staying with politics, 6 political parties affiliated to the ruling Kenya Kwanza administration have agreed to fold up and join UDA. The move comes as a section of affiliate parties rejected the proposal to fold and join the party. The Secretary General of UDA, Cleopas Malala, now says the parties are part of UDA family and will participate in every activity, including grassroots elections.
The governors first. Yeah.
6 political parties have folded to join President William Ruto's UDA. The parties were previously affiliated with the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. The parties are Umoja na Maendeleo, whose leader is former Embu Governor Martin Wambura, Chama cha Kazi, Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kurias, Chama cha Mashinani Isaac Ruto's Economic Freedom Party, and the Economic Party. Speaking during a press conference at the party's headquarters in Nairobi on Tuesday, UDA's Secretary General Cleopas Malala said the new parties will first go through the register of political parties to formalize their engagement with the UDA before they can join the party.
Only echoing our president on the need to have a national party that is focused on issuing or on issues of mwananchi as opposed to tribal correctness. The statement is clear that we cannot have Kenya A and Kenya B. Neither can we have part of the country left behind while fixing the country. This decision was reached through discussions and consensus.
The defections come at a time when Azimio leader Raila Odinga is firing up his base in readiness for mass action in Nairobi on March 20th. These are some of the leaders in the Luo Nyanza region joined the UDA party led by former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero.
To tell you that we have made a decision as a community, as Luo community and as leaders that aspire to change the lives of our people. For me, there are 3 reasons why I am moving from the so-called ODM to UDA. 1, I subscribe to the manifesto of UDA, the manifesto that considers that person down there as the person that is important in governance equation of this country.
A party that cares about its people, not a party that, like the one we've left, that chaos. Is only interested in chaos. Is only interested in doing things for themselves, but not for the people who've elected them. We've heard about Maandamano. And when there is mandamano, who suffers? It is the common man who suffers.
Brian Amwai, Lookuptv.
And out of the corridors of justice, the family of rally driver Maxine Wahome says she is innocent. Through lawyer Philip Murger, the Wahome family say their daughter is not guilty of murder charges leveled against her. Addressing the media at Kilimani police station where she is being detained, Murger said he does not know why she was charged with murder.
She still doesn't know what crime she has committed. The emphasis today is just one message. Maxine is innocent. Maxine did not commit murder. I have just been retained. I have reviewed every single fact and all the circumstances surrounding this case, and I cannot understand how a charge of murder was preferred. But I don't want to go into the merits because the matter is now before court, except to say that we ask and we pray that the DCI and the DPP are ready with all the evidence so that the case can start as soon as possible. The young lady who is now locked up has her life at a standstill. She cannot carry on with her career. Her sponsors in her rallying career are withdrawing. The sooner this matter is disposed of, the better for us.
And we are taking a very short break here on the program. And I see your messages are coming in fast and thick. Keep them coming. The hashtag is Lookupnews at Lookuptv on Facebook, Lookuptv on Twitter, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. We take that break. Don't go too far.
Watazamaji, tuko hapa kwa ajili ya shindano la kutafuna pilipili sinia moja. Atakayemaliza wa kwanza anakabidhiwa shilingi 1,100. Hapana, 1,000. Nyeupe uko tayari? Tayari. Nyeusi uko tayari? Uko tayari bana, leta hiki kitu. Haya basi, twende. 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 Kutafuna. Hey. Mbona upitie hizi shida zote na unaweza jishindia 100,000 times your bet ndani ya Lotto Mega Draw. Changamka, cheza Lotto.
It's easier, it's bigger, it's better. It's Grand Mega Draw. Cheza na shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2,000 na ushinde mega cash ya 200 million. Isitoshe, kuna mega bonus ya up to 20 million shillings kila Jumatano na Jumamosi. Sio ndoto, unangoja nini? Cheza Lotto, it could be you. Nenda kwa M-Pesa paybill number 77700. Andika neno Look kama account number. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2,000 na ushinde sasa. Round hii ni more draws, more cash and big wins na Lotto.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution or a university and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Lookuptv and all our digital platforms. Call us today on 011 0430 158, 011 0430 158 or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Lookuptv. This is Lookupnews. I'm Nancy Nelima and our sign language interpreter is Josephine Oko. To matters education, as the universities continue to face challenges in the financial sector, the government will in a month's time decide on the issue of the increment. Additionally, there is consideration to take different approaches to deal with issues such as innovation. Phoebe Wangombe with that story.
In the light of the current financial crisis almost taking higher learning institutions to their deathbeds, the government now says it will decide in a few months whether to raise university fees or not. Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms Task Force proposals, according to the Ministry of Education, were being held up until they were received.
To be with us today on this auspicious occasion.
According to Dr. Beatrice Muganda, the government is aware of the funding issues institutions face, and the state was eager to raise funds by focusing on innovation as one of the ways to get funds for the universities.
The issue of quality, access, and funding will always remain a trilemma. And so we are continuously working to address these issues.
In a rejoinder, Professor Chacha Nyaigoti Chacha, the chairman of the Commission for University Education, training program was designed to address standards. He also defended universities who had either discontinued some courses or were sending a portion of their employees home, and also said that these institutions were looking into approaches to deal with the problems.
There are times when it becomes necessary that some programs are not going to be offered in those institutions. We trust that our universities in Kenya have the capacity to determine the value addition, to determine, for example, programs which might no longer be necessary in terms of being offered, and make arrangements for those programs to be discontinued.
Phoebe Wangombe, Lookuptv.
And the National Assembly has recommended measures to limit public debt borrowing. The MPs now want the National Treasury to submit to the House the strategy to resolve non-performing loans linked to various state-owned corporations such as Kenya Airways and KPLC, arguing that profit made from such corporations should be sent to the cater for other government projects.
And Honorable Speaker, if you want to know the genesis of corruption in state corporations, it is in the mobilization of deposits on where they will deposit.
There is a problem with the system or the manner in which we are borrowing. And I think maybe we need to figure out, is there a way that some people can be held accountable? There's this issue where commitment fees are being paid for undisbursed loans. A loan has been borrowed, it's not been taken, we have not touched it, but we are already paying commitment fees.
Deviation. It should not be at the whim of a president. It should not be at the whim of the guy at Treasury. It is this parliament that needs to say, we have said no, you can't borrow, look at what you have and run this country. That is what we need to look at. And that is the objective way to ensure that we run a good fiscal management policy, we run a good treasury without having to twist.
Now, Speaker, what is important here is actually local domestic borrowing. Because domestic borrowing crowds out the business people who borrow actually to generate money. And therefore government is competing with business. And like that we cannot actually grow our economy.
And International Justice Mission IJM has raised concern on the mental health issues faced by victims and witnesses of crime in the country. Speaking at the launch of the Victims and Witnesses Psychological Support Network book, different organizational leaders and other stakeholders raised concern over resolved to offer simple guidelines on how to deal with victims and witnesses before and after the cases are taken to court. Take a look.
Booklet also focuses on factors hindering victim and witness participation in the criminal justice system, and really, as you can see, there are many factors. These are just is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the factors that hinder witnesses and victims from participating fully. Yeah, the legal system, as we have said, is very complex. There is limited information. Okay. The society and criminal justice actors do not understand the experience of the victim at all. And that's why I was saying, sometimes we understand offenders more than we understand victims. We have focus on offenders more than we have focus on victims.
But it's painful enough. The case took 6 years. Paka mtoto alibecome 10 years. Akaanza kusema hataki kesi yake ifanywe because she's keeping on repeating. So those are the issues of trauma that we are talking about, either pre-trial or during trial or after trial or even not in trial, isn't it?
Thank you, Abe, for that story. Now, the Meteorological Department in Embu has warned farmers of low rainfalls, urging residents to put up mechanisms that will cope with forecast. Gladys Masharia with this and other stories from the local front.
We have also given...
Speaking during a participatory scenario workshop by Agricultural Sector Development Support Program at Wika Social Hall in Mbeere South, the County Agricultural Officer gave advisories that include planting early, planting drought-resistant and fast-maturing crops depending on the ecological zone.
Kulingana na ule utabiri tumepewa na department ya Meteorological Department, tumeshaambiwa kuwa mvua itakuwa kidogo ama kukaribia kuwa ile ya kawaida, na kwa wakati huu tunawashauri wakulima waanze kupanga mashamba yao mapema. Pia kwa kila zoni yenye mkulima ametoka apande zile mbegu zinakuwa haraka. Pia aweke ile mikakati ya kuvuna maji kwa mashamba yao na kuhakikisha kila activity yenye wanafanya kwa mashamba yao wafanye mapema ndio waweze kunufaika na hii mvua ambayo itakuwa kidogo.
On the other hand, SGR extension to EPZA project, according to the CS Trade Moses Kuria, the project will help maximize our taxes by the help of the AGOA market, and for this project will help create 4 million jobs with the help of the NSSF investment. The CS Labour Florence Bore echoed his words by saying that she is pleased with the contributions that are already ongoing since February.
As a Ministry of Labour, for the 4 million jobs that Moses has talked about, I know he's passionate with trade issues, and Waziri Moses Kuria, I'm hoping this come to reality.
And this will ensure that we continue taking advantage of the AGOA market. The market for AGOA, Africa accounts for less than 0.01%. We have got a huge market, but right now we are only exporting goods worth how much, Hussein? $500 million? And we want to raise that figure to $5 billion a year. And it is possible that we raise it tenfold because of what you're helping us. In fact, I am persuaded to think that is just a tip of the iceberg.
In Siaya, agricultural stakeholders have invested heavily on agricultural business programs targeting the youth. According to the County Agribusiness Youth Officer, Sarah Mango, they have decided to woo youth to engage in agribusiness to fight extreme poverty, hunger and employment.
A department, we used to lump youth and put them in a corner called inclusivity. But now we have a few programs that target directly the young people so that they don't get lost into that basket of inclusion. And through our county programs, for example, in the department we have the inputs and subsidies programs where we offer tractor hire services. As a subsidy, we give seed and fertilizer as a subsidy. Irrigation pumps as subsidies directly from the department. Youth are also part of the beneficiaries of those programs.
Gladys Masharia, Lookuptv.
Let's now get sporty. Lewa Safari Marathon has received a major boost from Safaricom and Huawei Company ahead of the 24th edition of the marathon. The annual event has hosted runners for almost 2.5 decades, from elite professionals like marathon world record holder Eliud Kipchoge to amateur runners.
The 24th edition of Lewa Safari Marathon has received a boost of 10 million shillings from Safaricom as part of the sponsorship.
I want to confirm Safaricom's commitment and sponsorship of 10 million for this year's race. We're proud of the cause that Lewa stands for, and especially the awareness, trying to drive the efforts to conserve our wildlife.
The marathon is scheduled to take place on Saturday, the 24th of June. Huawei, on the other hand, has been supporting the Lewa Safari Marathon for the past 16 years.
So more with our partner together for the Lewa neighborhood. And this year we will also to sponsor like $100,000 for Lewa Marathon. We would like to continuously to do that in the coming few years, because for us I think it's meaningful, because we can protect the wildlife, and also I think as the part of Kenyan society we would like to contribute more.
The purpose of the event is to make positive impact to the community, to promote and develop talents in sports, moreover, conservation of the wildlife and environment.